Hi everyone, I hope you're all well and keeping safe. This is the first GHT Make and Create introduction session. My name is Alex Sutherland. I'm an artist based in Winchester and Southampton. My practice mainly consists of installation, so I work a lot with fabrics, found objects and clay as well, a lot of things that evoke personal memories. So in this workshop you'll be learning how to dye fabrics with natural materials such as fruits, vegetables, different spices, nuts and things like that. I had a go at doing turmeric and blueberry. So this is a great chance to get creative with any plain clothing that you might have at home, and also to use up possibly any food scraps that you might have. It's an introduction to natural dyeing, but I've chosen to use ingredients that are relatively accessible. You don't have to order anything online. Please do note though that the dyeing process that we're using does not contain a mordant, and a mordant is a substance that sort of fixes the dye into the fabric. So this doesn't mean that anything you do dye, if you're planning on possibly wearing it, it will fade if you put it in the washing machine. You could hand wash it, but that colour will fade eventually. And just for a sneak peek, this is the finished outcomes of the dyeing. So this is the turmeric. It's got hair on it. It's super bright. Yeah, just really, really, really lush. And this is the blueberry. So the blueberry, when it first came out and I gave it a little rinse, it was super purple, like bright purple. But it's faded, and it's only been a couple of days. It's faded over time to this kind of greyish kind of blue, but I think it's quite nice. I think it's really quite a nice colour. But yeah, that just goes to show that you can get so many different shades and the colours will change, but I think that's quite nice almost, that it's like an ever-changing colour. So yeah, so the next step is to show you how to do it. So I'm starting with my fabric. I've got an old white cotton t-shirt that I'm going to use. Any pale fabric will work best, white or cream, but you can work with any fabrics really. The first thing we need to do is boil the fabrics with some salts. So it needs to be soaked before you can put it in the dye, and the salt sort of helps with the binding of the colour of the dye, and it makes it overall a bit brighter. So yeah, we're going to put those in and bring that to a boil. As soon as it's boiled, pop them out, put them to the side and let them sort of cool off. Try not to let them dry out, as they do need to be soaked before you pop them in with the actual dye itself. So next step, I usually do around 3 parts water to 1 part well, in this case blueberries, but it really is up to sort of its interpretation really. You can use a lot of blueberries to make like a stronger colour. So we're going to bring that up to a boil. So once it's been boiled, even after just sort of like 20 minutes or so, it's already got quite dark, the colour. But you want to keep that simmering for about an hour and a half extra, 2 hours. Depends, the longer you leave it, the stronger the dye will be. Once you're done with that, take your blueberries out. I think I left one in, but that's okay. So you've got your dye there, and keep it sort of simmering. And now we're going to add our fabric. So once again, make sure it's still quite damp and got some water in it, and yeah, give it a little stir. And you're going to leave that for I left it for about 2 hours. That's with the vinegar. So the vinegar also works in the same way that the salt does. It kind of helps to bind that colour in, make it nice and bright. It's obviously acidic as well, so it can change the colour a little bit. So after that, I've taken them out, sort of drained them. I've also added in some other fabrics. I put those in after I took it off the heat, just to kind of see the example of fabric that had gone in with heat and one that had gone in and just sat while it was sort of like room temp. it does make a big difference. So as you can see, there's 2 different shades in there. It's like purple on one bit, and then it's sort of indigo. I was quite pleased with that when that came out. So yeah, give it a little rinse. Make sure you wash your hands, because obviously it did have it had some white vinegar in there. So yeah, you could use gloves also, just to make sure you don't damage your hands. So the next one is turmeric. I found this one a lot quicker. So for anyone who's used turmeric in cooking, it's like extremely bright and sort of stains your fingers, so it's like perfect for dyeing. With this one I've added some lemon juice as a sort of extra acidic little experiment to see what that will do. So I brought that to a boil. A lot of it did evaporate actually, but you can see what we've left with is a really bright dye, bright yellowy orange. So I've drained it into a bowl, and I'm just going to wash all this turmeric off. It leaves kind of a bit of a paste on the fabric, so you have to give it a real good scrubbing to get all that turmeric out. But the colour is amazing. So what I've done is I've kept the dyes in some little jars, just in case I want to use them again, or maybe even add to them. And this is the final product for the blueberry dye. So it changed a lot, and with the yellow, really beautiful, really bright. I think it lost some of its orangey tones, but it's still really gorgeous. And these were the ones that I put in when the blueberry dye wasn't warm anymore, and I just wanted to see if it made a change. It went kind of bluey. And this is an example of red onion skin that I also did while I was playing around. So we've got like 2 colours in there from that, which is really cool. So thank you for watching my video, and I hope you have lots of fun dyeing your fabrics with fruits and vegetables.